G'day guys and gal. No matter what faction is your favorite or how long your schlong is, we can all agree that Titans are dope. Warhammer 40k has somehow managed to make giant slow-moving mechs, something that really should not be that effective in war, the absolute sickest things ever. The god machines are always a joy to read about when they pop up in the lore, with many of their scenes easily being the dopest in the entire setting. So I thought, why not check out the 5 most awesome Titan battles within the entirety of Warhammer 30 and 40k as a sick way to start off 2024. Speaking of which, Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a fantastic time with friends, families, or just your cat. I had a good time, got extremely lit at a day festival with my mates, and I am now paying the price for that, but hey, I'd do it again. If I can ask one favor from you to help start off the year strong, consider chucking me a subscription. We are nearly at 600,000, which is a wild milestone, and I have something awesome planned for when we reach it. Today we'll go over the 5 most epic Titan battles in the entirety of Warhammer 40k, not just based on how many Titans fought, but the sheer epicness and quality of the lore as well. Now let's get into it. To show how insane this list is actually going to be, our first epic Titan battle was during the Siege of Hell's Reach, considered to be one of the most epic last stands not just in Warhammer, but the entirety of science fiction. Yes, I'm making that claim. While Grimaldus and his brothers are front and center, the Titans that stayed by their side and fought to the end are figures of legend. Let's set the scene. The city of Hell's Reach has come under attack by a massive fuck-off army of orcs. They throw wave after wave of it. Each meter they gain can be measured in the thousands of liters of their own blood, but they do slowly gain ground. The Titans standing near Hell's Reach were hesitant to garrison what they thought was an unimportant doomed city, but Grimaldus and his adamantium balls was like, fuck that, I'm having a chat with your Imperator Titan. The Titan crew refused, but Grimaldus came anyway. When the Titan Scutari denied him entry into the Titan, he prepared to kill them, until the Titan Princeps finally relented and allowed him access. Grimaldus then met the Princeps face to face, and seeing how much of a gigachad Grimaldus was, the Princeps agreed to garrison Hell's Reach and fight to the bitter end in its defense. See, Grimaldus knew that the orcs would create Gargants, their own version of Titans, and without Imperial Titans to counter them, then he and his city would be fucked. Time and time again the Gargants came, time and time again the god machines blew them apart. However, the first Titan would eventually fall, a Reaver class who fell into a crude orc trap and was then boarded by orcs and had its crew butchered. A very humiliating death for a god machine. The Imperator Titan, the mega god machine, flew into a rage and went to avenge its fallen brother, however also fell into a trap. Grimaldus saved it from a similar fate, however the Princeps had been lost in the source, with the machine spirit taking over. Grimaldus is like, oi, wake the fuck up samurai, we have some Gargants to kill, which pulled the Princeps out of her insanity and back into the fight. As the war went on, day after day of non-stop brutal city fighting, another 7 Titans would fall, with the remainders being exhausted and damaged. However, just as they were going to withdraw to rest, a massive heat signature appeared. The Imperator sent 2 Warhound Titans to investigate, and they would both get obliterated in one shot. The orcs had brought forth a Mega Gargant, their ultimate war machine. It tore through the Titan Legion and finally faced down against the Imperator. However, the Imperator was so damaged with its Princeps so fried that it could barely operate. The crew attempted to fire its Plasma Annihilator, a weapon that would destroy the Mega Gargant. However, one of the crew fired the plasma gun as soon as it was charged, without waiting for its aiming stabilizers, causing the shot to go wide. The Imperator was then destroyed, the Princeps dying knowing she had fulfilled her duty and stayed till the very end. Although this seems a bit grim for the Imperium, Grimaldus was able to locate and bring forth a mega weapon to destroy the Mega Gargant, with the sacrifice of the Titans keeping the city alive until the weapon could be found and activated. So the sacrifice was not in vain. This next Titan battle was the battle for Orestes, which had an entire novel dedicated towards it called Titanicus, which is actually considered to be one of the best Warhammer 40k books out there. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know all the nitty gritty, however I know enough. A large Chaos force, equipped with their own traded Titan legions, came to invade the Forge World of Orestes. Forge Worlds were great prizes for both Imperial or Trader armies due to their massive manufacturing capability, resources, and more often than not, Titans. Defending Orestes was the depleted Legio Tempestus, one of the oldest Titan legions in the Imperium with a very tragic history, but we'll discuss more about that later in this video, as this isn't their only mega epic battle. Despite Tempestus being there, Orestes was going to be fucked, until by sheer luck, Legio Invicta, another loyalist Titan legion, was passing by the system and came to the world's aid. This created the setup for the largest Titan battle in over 10,000 years. Around 100 god machines on each side. The battle was fucked. Thousands upon thousands of ground troops getting annihilated, while Titans clapped the fuck out of each other. It was so hectic that even the tech priests lost their usual cool, with a particularly funny scene having a tech adept having a full rage fit at one of his subordinates, calling them a stupid cow, silly bitch, telling them to kiss his ass, calling them a pompous twank, among many other things. The best part is that as he said it via the noosphere, an advanced form of communication and data sending, it only took him like 2 seconds to pass it on. The war was vicious and obscene, however the Imperium would prevail and take the dub, so fuck you, Chaos Titans. I don't know if it's just me, but man, I hate Chaos Titans. Imperial Titans are so awesome and courageous and heroic. Chaos Titans just seem like such little rats. This next one wasn't the biggest Titan battle, but it was still off its nut, that being the various Titan engagements during the Siege of Terra. Over the course of the Horus Heresy, thousands of Titans were destroyed. This is partially why Titans are quite rare in the current setting. They are super hard to build and most of them were obliterated. The last Titan battle of the Horus Heresy was the Siege of Terra itself. The Imperium didn't actually have many Titans left by this point, and using Titans in the defense wasn't that effective. However, the Titans they did have were pretty crazy. The best example being the Psi Titans of the Ordo Sinister. Yes, that is exactly what it sounds like, a fucking psychic warlord Titan. To make a Titan psychic, you need to collect a bunch of psykers and wire them into the Titan against their will. Then you need to mind link them to the Princeps, who has to be a psychic blank. The powers of a Psi Titan are retarded. It can heal itself by winding back time, it can open up warp portals and teleport around, or it can literally just unleash waves of total fear across the battlefield. During the Siege of Terra, a Psi Titan obliterated itself by walking into a warp vortex of its own making, in order to teleport behind an enemy Titan, reform itself, and then turbo blast the enemy Titan in the back. It was so fucking overkill it makes me laugh, but it really shows how bonkers they are. However, despite their apparent power, they often seem to get destroyed by Demon Titans or Chaos Imperator Titans, so overall they have actually been a bit of a letdown. Another cool part of the Siege of Terra Titan battles was the fact that after most of the fighting was finished, the traitors begun crucifying the dead Loyalist Titans to the walls, which is metal as fuck. Now onto one of the coolest bits of lore I've ever read, something I think about often, the final battle of the Magma City during the Schism of Mars. This battle was fucking epic and featured Legio Tempestus, our boys from the Orestes Titan battle. The traitor Mechanicum had played their hand to the horror of the Loyalists, unleashing Chaos corrupted scrap code across Mars, which fucked shit up. However, the Loyalists were able to gather together to make a final stand at the Magma City, the only Loyalist city remaining. They had a huge army of Scutari, a force of knights, and the entirety of Legio Tempestus that was on Mars at the time. As the knights sallied forth the front gate to clap some cheeks, Legio Tempestus faced down Legio Mortis on the killing fields. The problem was that Legio Mortis had an Imperator, but Tempestus didn't give a fuck. Their leader, the Stormlord, vowed to bring the traitors down, and despite being outnumbered and outgunned, every single Legio Mortis engine by the Imperator felt the wrath of Legio Tempestus and was destroyed. By the end of the battle, only the Stormlord himself as well as the Mortis Imperator remained. However, the Stormlord's Titan was disabled. As he began getting boarded by traitor Scutari who wanted to take the machine alive and corrupt it, the Stormlord was like, "Eat death, you fucks," and he overloaded his plasma drive, becoming a mini nuke that destroyed itself and a shitload of traitors. As the Magma City was doomed, Coriel Zeth, its mistress and leader, unleashed the floodgates and allowed all the lava of the city to flood out, destroying herself, her city, but also thousands of corrupted Mechanicum forces, and it even fucked up the Mortis Imperator Titan. The traitors paid dearly for Mars. Another instance of me frothing Loyalist Titans and hating traitor ones. The final epic Titan battle was fucking ridiculous. It was considered to be one of the largest battles of the Horus Heresy, its death toll higher than the previous 5 years of civil warring before it combined. It was officially known as the Battle for Beta Garmin, but everyone calls it Titan Death, when thousands of god machines met in vicious war and were destroyed. See, Beta Garmin was the doorway to the Sol system. The traitors needed to take it to have a clean shot at Terra, whilst the Loyalists wanted to use it as a final choke point. Another big consideration was the fact that the Loyalists would not be able to effectively use their Titans on Terra due to how confined it was, combined with the fact that thousands of Titans turbo blasting each other would turn Terra into an inhabitable wasteland, so if they instead deployed them at Beta Garmin, they could cause a lot more pain on the traitors without nuking Terra. Rogel Dawn also knew that if they could hold the traitors at Beta Garmin, it would give the Lion, Gilliman, and Lehman time to arrive at Terra and completely sodomize the traitors to death. The war started off pretty low-key. Emperor's children and Alpha Legion forces travelled to Beta Garmin early on in the heresy to establish a foothold. However, when the Ruinstorm was finally taken out by the efforts of Sanguinius, Gilliman, and the Lion, the Loyalists could finally communicate and coordinate again. To make it clear, Beta Garmin was the name of the system, not a single planet, in which dozens of battles were constantly fought. The Void Battle was also obscene, with so many ships being destroyed that it created a debris field that orbited the planet and periodically rained down meteors upon the forces fighting there. It was clear, however, that the traitors were winning. Loyalist Titans were fighting with all their will and might, however, due to how proud they were, each Titan Legion refused to fall under the command of another to better coordinate. However, this changed when motherfucking Sanguinius arrived and initiated the Titan Death. Over 1,000 Titans engaged on a single battlefield, with Sanguinius himself taking on an Imperator Titan and killing it. Jesus Christ. However, despite that act of supreme epicness, the traitor forces were too many, their tactics too good. Sanguinius, seeing the situation as doomed, withdrew as many surviving loyalists as he physically could. Although it was an overall defeat, a metric fuckload of traitor titans were destroyed, and time was bought for Guilliman and the other loyalists to get closer to Terra. Never again have so many god machines taken the field of battle, and never again will they. The death toll of Beta Garmin was ridiculous, not just the hundreds of dead titans, the thousands of dead space marines, the millions of dead guardsmen, but also the billions and billions of dead civilians. I'm actually not up to the Titan Death novel of the Horus Heresy yet, but holy fuck, I'm keen to get to it. It sounds obscene. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then subscribe. It's a new year, guys. Let's start it off by tickling my balls. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.